All right, Meerkat. Bit of a success story, bit of an interesting history in the last couple of months. But before we get to Meerkat, tell me a little bit about the startup that it comes out of, because Meerkat is not your first product.
It's not sorry?
Your first product?
No. So as a company, we started almost 3 years ago a product called Yevo, you could tweet live video on Yevo. It was just very, very complicated, and it was not simple. And after that, we launched Air, and then we kind of understood that the vision is there. There is something exciting. We just haven't figured it out. And you go into this like weird contingency mode, and you have a team of 15 people, and you need to fire 5 of them, which is kind of not nice at all. And then we went into this exploratory mode when we took all the use cases that we learned from Yevo, and we asked ourselves what kind of simple product we can do to answer those use cases in live video, and one of them was Meerkat.
What was that use case?
So basically we came up with like live streaming button to your address book, which is I want to stream live to my friends. And then there was another use case of fans who streaming on Yevo Lady Gaga shows with the right hashtag, and that got picked up on Twitter with super fans and become super viral. So we said, oh, we should build a live streaming button to Twitter. And then there was Yik Yak of live video, which a lot of use cases of high school, and Reddit of live video. So, and there was another 2, and that was the Gantt, like do every 2 months, release a new experiment, which is experience, yeah.
The Lady Gaga thing didn't work out for you?
No, people were streaming from the show,
okay.
But because they were using the right hashtag, it got picked up with super fans, and that drove a lot of traction to the live stream on Yevo, and that kind of made us think that live streaming button to Twitter is actually a good use case.
So you experiment a lot, and then you come up with Meerkat. What was it that made Meerkat work and everything else didn't quite catch on?
So I think that our biggest lesson was the simplicity. So when you introduce a new way for people to express themselves, you need it not to be creepy. You need to reward them very fast. They need to get a reward on what they did very fast. And it also need to be immediate. So simple and not creepy and immediate reward. I think that applies to any product, but especially when you try to get people to express themselves in a medium they didn't do before. Like who streamed live video themselves before? It's not many will say I did.
Right. Now we'll get to the video streaming part there, but talk to me about what happened when you released Meerkat. When did you know you were onto something?
We knew it like 2 weeks before we launched. We were playing with Meerkat, and suddenly Twitter started sending us push notification between the team that is saying, this and this person are now talking about Meerkat. This and this person are now favoriting this stream. And we're like, wait a second, Twitter has this whole viral mechanism thing that because of the way we built Meerkat, if Meerkat works, this is explosive. And you would get email from Twitter, like basically for the first month, Twitter did the whole job for us in distributing Meerkat to the user base because of the way their notification system work and their reactivation emails work.
Now, your history with Twitter is a little bit more complicated than just getting some emails from them, right? I mean, I don't know if most people here know probably that Twitter bought Periscope, which is a very similar application. And that happened, what, about 2-3 weeks after you launched, right? They announced.
They bought them before.
They bought them before.
And they kind of forced to rush into market because of us, yeah.
You forced them.
I don't say I forced them, but I bet they felt forced.
Well, I'm going to say you forced them, because I'm sure they felt forced to do it. What did you think in that moment when Twitter released this very similar product?
I think it's a very good validation of the space. I think it's a very sad world if only one product is going to be the one that controls the live video, the one-to-many synchronous medium. And obviously it's not the case on the one-to-many asynchronous, like we see with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. The main key would be to differentiate. The biggest problem I see when I look in the overarching scheme of things on the market, our biggest problem into the long tail is making sure everybody understands why Meerkat is different than any other product. Not better, different. And I think because of the way things were in timing, it's still the problem, but we're working very hard on that vertical.
Now, right now, they're still very similar, though, right?
Yes. I tend to agree that for someone who didn't work on live streaming products for 3 years, the forest still look like forest, and what we as product maker we understand the trees, the different trees. And because we understand that, the way we prioritize the set of features is pretty much geared toward, we believe in participation, let us show you how, and we're very excited about a couple next weeks, because we're working exactly on that.
All right. You're not going to talk to us about what exactly you're doing?
No.
All right, that's right. Still, people always say that. It's validation for us that one of our competitors is going to the same space.
No, but that's a fucking big competitor, right? That's like, we need to be honest. Like, right. It's team of 60 veteran media people with relationship of over 8 and 6 years with all the media. So while our total time watched live we had the best month ever last month, and we're doing actually 3 times more higher in total time watched live and stream live. People still think that because Oprah is streaming on Periscope or Ellen streaming on Periscope, there is reason to be worried. We are worried, but we're worried from different things, not because this person uses us or not.
What worries you then? What keeps you up at night if you're not worried about Periscope?
No, we are worried about the strength of the competitor and what a competitor with a big pocket freaked out, on a $100 million check, what they can do. And that's basically it's not about like who uses your product as long as your community growing, and that's not worrying us. It's more like how do we make sure our community and the people surround the community understand why this is a different product and why this gives something else than that. I'm not saying better. We just believe that when you look at content, so text was here for thousands of years, thousands of years, photos, and then videos. And then videos, it hasn't been changed in the past 60 years. Like, this is the first time that the content of video is really changing into being a content number 4, which is a participatory content. And a participatory content is content where the audience is part of the content. And I still believe that Periscope is a great product for one-to-many video. And we are doing very good, actually, in many-to-one. And you can see it now in the product now, that the audience is in front and you can actually people interacting. but we want to make sure you understand it better, so we're double downing on that.
When you say many to one, what do you mean with that?
So we always think about the 12th notification you get, the 20th notification you get. Why would you open it? Like, what is the justification for you to tune in real time? And why does it matter? And when we say many to one, we believe that based on hundreds of thousands of users we had on Yevo, and by the way, Yevo is still the live streaming consumer product that had, until now, Yevo, not Meerkat, our old product, the most concurrent live watchers ever between mobiles to mobile, even atop Periscope.
Was that a Lady Gaga thing?
No, it was some kid who's like a famous YouTuber in Central America somewhere, and like tens of thousands in real time tuning. And we know that even after he had that, like, it's still not enough if people don't feel that they are participating in the content, and that's what's important.
So there's a couple of things I want to ask you about. One is the community, just building up the community. How are you doing that?
So we actually have a Slack channel with all the most prominent.
Everybody has a Slack channel now.
No, but it's like an actual vibrant Slack channel with all the community moderators. And every time anything goes wrong, we know about it before even our data shows us. And that's great. We have like 100 people, but between 30 to 40 people that are actually actively contributing. And we reward them by giving them opportunities to feature content and ban, which actually very powerful for a user to feel that they can do.
Sure, those are all volunteers, right?
Yeah.
What about the other side of the coin? How are you getting new users? What are you doing there?
Yeah, so getting new user right now, it's not the challenge for us, but activating them is a challenge since we don't have the graph. So we started working against this problem with the phone verification and the address book. We're going to move into Facebook integration, which will match you with your Facebook friends.
Now, for those who don't know, you used to have access to your Twitter friends as well.
Yeah.
Something happened there.
No, they literally 14 days after we launched, they took it off.
You were probably not happy when that happened.
To say the truth, we were expecting that, but not that soon, and not with a 2 hours notice. But that's life, you know.
That must have hurt your kind of growth curve, though, at that point, right? I mean,
yeah, because basically we used only Twitter SDK, so all they need to do is just look at the dashboard and see exactly what's going on Meerkat.
When you're talking about activating your users, so you're not so worried about getting new users on the platform, but you're more worried about, getting them to stream, or?
So broadcasters matter. They are the most important thing in a platform, in a live video platform. And if you go live and you don't get rewarded fast, which is what we did with auto matching on your graph, the platform is not, what?
Lloyd is just doing his thing there and he's confusing me. You're looking at me, it's confusing. So
taking the graph definitely slow us down in terms of how we activate new broadcasters. But there's still a lot of other places you can go and reward the people.
So Facebook is coming next. You're gonna build
Facebook integration coming next. This is not the real. This is like how you solve problem.
Right.
I'm more excited about the things that are new, that we're working on, that are literally new kind of feature that you haven't seen, like
that you will not tell us about here.
There is nothing. I will show you backstage, but that you cannot compare. Like when you build something that you cannot compare to anything else. it's very terrifying because you have no idea how people will perceive it.
Sure.
But it's also very exciting because there's nothing to compare it to. So.
You're talking about terrifying. A lot of people are still terrified about going live on video. It's still very, very new for most people. Are you doing anything to help them overcome that, this fear of being on video?
Beside the Meerkat logo that is very cute, we're still not doing a good job on that. There is one feature called mobbing, is when your stream get picked up and a lot of people interacting on it. There is a Meerkat on a rocket that is flying and making your stream trending.
All right.
And that's a good reward because people actually want to get mobbing. But we definitely need to do a better job for the everyday user who have like 4, 5 watchers.
Sure. What about, a lot of what you've been talking about is just getting people on, but what about brands as well? Is that something you've been thinking about, and especially when it comes to monetizing the platform?
So just last week we had the Country Music Award integration.
Right. U2 is on your platform too, I think, right?
Excuse me?
U2 is on your platform too.
Yeah, U2 we just, we are integrated to their whole tour. They're coming to Montreal, I think, or they were just live in Montreal or something. U2 is actually have this huge Jumbotron, and the band had an idea to stream live video, and you will see it on the Jumbotron and on the Twitter feed. So we hacked the version. U2 is currently the only people in the world that have a horizontal version of Meerkat is U2. We made a version, and we called it Bono version. And the band manager follow-ups with an email, and he's like, "You cannot call it a Bono version. We didn't agree to call it a Bono version." And I'm like, "Dude, just chill.
That's what happens when you work with big brands.
You're the only person who have this version, literally."
Now, why is that though? Why is Meerkat only vertical and not horizontal? Because for years we've been trying to teach people not to take their videos vertical. It's,
I agree with you that it's stupid, but the thing is, you want to make it. You want to make people feel easy to go live and easy to tune in, and the natural state of the hand in how the phone trains our hand to operate is vertical. So if all the people here between the ages of 10 to 40 that have phones are trained in the past decade to use the phone vertically, I'm only harming my experience.
Totally.
Like by introducing, every time you open a Meerkat, you should switch it to interact. It's like not how they used to do it. And Snapchat proved that it's actually something that makes sense, even though it's not the natural state of the eyes.
And Instagram has got square photos, so that's going on there. What about I just want to talk a little bit about your investors as well, and has your relationship changed with them after Twitter and everything happened? Did you get pressure from them to make changes, or?
So here's the thing: when we did the investment, the round was oversubscribed. So, but we have great people like, Gary Vaynerchuk Fund and Sherpa Ventures and Slow, Dave Morins, and Ashton Kutcher, which sound like great people. They really want to help. And to do that, I had to actually go, I had like a $2 million budget to go to my previous investors and buy them out so I can give shares to those people. And
is that the sign that we're supposed to wrap up? Is that what it is?
We're going to finish it.
Nice.
I'm just going to finish this
No,
point.
we've got good atmosphere now, though.
Yeah. So here I am trying to give $2 million to investors, and they didn't want to sell. And we ended up just increasing the round, but we thought, yes, now Periscope is launched. They might sell. And they didn't.
Nothing?
So
They just want to stick with you?
they didn't. They were like, no.
That's a good sign, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. But we wanted them to sell.
Now, the question I always ask every startup I talk to is, how are you going to make money of all of this? And I know you hate that question. I know you told me not to ask you.
I don't hate question. I think that in the end of the day, Meerkat should be a place when you can develop, distribute, and monetize content as teams just on our platform, the same way you can do with apps on the App Store.
What's the end goal for you? How many people you want on your platform? Do you want everybody to be streaming live, or do you want every major event to be on Meerkat?
I think that changing the behavior of how we consume content and seeing that it's actually matter as a different as content number 4, participatory content, being able to even be part of the introduction of this kind of content, which I think is going to shape the next century, like a content that we're not just sitting and consuming, we're actively taking part in how the content ends up. Just being a small friction of that, that's enough. It's not measured by users.
So, as a writer, I always worry about video because, do you think video is going to take over from text in many ways for many people? Are they going to, are we going to live stream everything instead of reading about it?
I think that we're going to see clans of people that are mutually sharing a mutual story together.
All right.
And that's the new type of content. They could be hundreds of people, tens of people, there could be thousands of people, right, but they're sharing the story together as it happens.
One to many and many to one.
Yeah.
All right, they brought up the lights. I think we're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.